So this is an example of a DVR, or a digital video recorder. What you see here is the front of the DVR, but as I said in my earlier lesson, I mentioned that most of the activity happens at the back of the DVR. And so this is the back of a DVR, a typical digital video recorder. I mentioned in my earlier lesson that a digital video recorder, or DVR, is mostly identified by the fact that there are BNC inputs found on the DVR. I also mentioned that the BNC inputs determine the number of channels, or the number of cameras that the DVR can take. So for example, this DVR is a 4-channel DVR because it has provision to receive 4 AHD or analog cameras. So this is a 4-channel DVR. Now we also have an audio output, that is the A out port. Here is an audio output so that cameras that support sound, or that have microphone on them, can have their sound heard through the audio output. Closely followed after that port is the HD output, or the HDMI output port. This is the point where you can connect to your TV screen, that is a TV screen that has HDMI input. We also have a VGA port for screens that use the VGA, and you can both use the HDMI port and the VGA at the same time, whereby you can connect this DVR to either an HDMI enabled output screen or through the VGA connection. We also have the audio input ports here. There are 4 audio input ports because this is a 4-channel DVR, whereby all 4 cameras may have audio or microphone attached to them, whereby they can pick sound. So that's the reason why we have the 4 audio input ports. Here are other ports aligned here. The top one is what we call the Ethernet port. The one I'm showing to the camera where my hand is the Ethernet port. This is where you can put in internet into the DVR so that you can have internet connection on the DVR for remote login purposes, or having internet to be able to view the cameras online. As well, there are USB ports, 2 USB ports, where you can take the recordings of the video recorder onto a flash drive or onto a hard drive of which you want to back up your data on, and then also for mouse connection. So that's the reason for the 2 USB ports. We also have one port here, the RS485 port, which is used for the control of PTZ cameras that have special cabling for PTZ cameras. So that's the reason for this connection port. And of course, it requires a 12 volts DC power input. The DVR requires power input, so that's the reason for this power input here. So basically, that's a recap of the ports on the DVR and their various functions. And I must mention that once you know how to, or what connects into any of these ports on the DVR, that puts you on a sound footing whereby you should be able to set up an AHD CCTV camera system, because the DVR is what receives all the parts or all the systems that connect together to make up the AHD or analog CCTV installation. So if you're able to know what connects to any of these ports, then it means that you are already there to be able to set up an AHD CCTV camera system. So that is about the DVR and its associated ports.